1490 WHBB. Good morning, 7:15 on this Monday morning, August the 18th. And as I said earlier, and I've been saying for the last several days, our guest this morning is Mrs. Tammy Maul, and she is running for School Board District 3. Good morning, Tammy Maul. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. We were just sitting here talking about her father, and for the longest, I didn't realize I was telling her that her father was the late Reverend Lorenzo Harrison, who was the first black city councilman.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, is this your first time running for office?
This is my first time running for office.
What took you so long?
Well, I've always liked working in the background, Randy. I've always been that quiet storm from the back.
So let's start over. I don't want to assume that everybody knows your background. Tell us about who you are, where you were born, where you went to school, your educational background, and what you presently do professionally.
I'm Tammy Maul, Tammy Shannon Maul. I'm the daughter of Lorenzo Harrison Sr. and Ora Bell Thomas Shannon. I'm married to Marvin Maul. I have 3 daughters and 3 grandsons. I attended Southside, graduated from Southside High School. I have a bachelor's degree in human resource management and a master's degree in management from Faulkner University. I've worked in elementary education, secondary education, post-secondary education. I've worked municipal, state, and federal government. So I've prepared myself for a moment just as this.
Weren't you? Were you doing something with the county at one point?
Yes, and presently I'm the career coach for Dallas County School District. I was the career coach for Selma City and Dallas County, but we were blessed to get funding from the state for Selma City schools to have their own career coach. So now there's 2 in the county, in Dallas County. Selma City has a career coach, and Dallas County School District has a career coach. I'm the career coach. That involves connecting our children to resources, getting them college and career ready, being a liaison between the industries in the community and the school system. So it's a very rewarding job. I really enjoy what I do.
And before we go on, I have to mention your mother, because we were looking all over the place for your mom, and didn't know she was right across you were right across the street, and I didn't know that was your mother because we were looking for there was only one person who had their children with them on Bloody Sunday, and her mother.
Yes.
Was there, and I guess your first cousin, huh?
Yes, my older siblings and my first cousin, who is like my brother.
Right.
We were all raised in the same house together.
Right.
Yeah, my mom is original foot soldier, Ora Bell Thomas Shannon, and we were raised to serve. It's just in our DNA.
So, which brings me to the $1 million question: why are you running for School Board District 3?
I'm running for School Board District 3 because I see a need I want to be a voice for our children. I'm already a voice for our children, but I want to do that on a wider scale. And the school board member that we have for our district, Ms. Hauser, before, she was a very good school board member. I was pleased with her work, but after she decided that she was not going to run, then I started looking at making a decision to run because I know that we still needed someone who has that, not just a passion, but who's also knowledgeable of the laws in the schools, knowledgeable of the issues that the parents have. I've sat on all 4 sides of the table. I've sat on the table as a parent. I'm currently a grandparent now. I have a grandchild in the school system. I've sat on the side of the table as a policy maker. And I've sat on the side table now as an employee, as an educator. So I know all the sides. I can look at it from all different angles. And so with that in mind, I decided that to be the voice, because the board is a team. No single person can make the difference on the board. It's gonna, but I want a team to be a voice for our children, to be a positive voice for our children.
What are some of the issues you think face this present and what kind of vision, do you have for the schools in the future?
I think one of my things that I've really has been a concern of mine is stability. In the last 17 years, we've had 10 superintendents, 11 high school principals, and that's including interims. So the question for me is, the board hires the superintendent. Are we, and I think the people that they're behind, as far as on paper, been qualified. So are we hiring the best fit for our community? Because that makes a difference. People have asked the question, if there was a local person who was a candidate for superintendent, would I support that? And my answer is, I'm gonna always support the most qualified candidate. But in that, I'm also going to look at somebody who is vested in this community.
Right.
Someone who understands the makeup of this community. Someone who can form relationships with the parents and the students and the employees in this community, because to me, that makes a big difference. So does that put someone who is from this community a step up? For me, yes.
Get all things considered.
With all things considered, qualifications, and
that would tip the scale.
That would tip the scale for me.
Well, that's one of my issues, not just with the Dallas County school system, but the city schools. The instability of the superintendent is something we should all be concerned about.
Yes. Are we giving them? Are we giving them as a board the tools that they need to do their job? And then are we allowing them to do their job? And I feel like after we've done that, then we can hold you accountable.
Well, one thing I've noticed, though, is that most of the superintendents, when they leave here, they go on to bigger jobs.
So again, are we hiring people who are coming in and using our system as a stepping stone,
see,
right, to move on to larger systems,
right?
So I think we have to, kind of look at all of that, and not make the decisions on personal. I don't make decisions on personal. I don't wear my feelings on my shoulders.
Right.
I'm approachable. If elected, the parents or someone in the community feels like I've made a decision that they disagree, please come and talk to me. Please let me know, because you may see something that I didn't see, even before the decision is made. Please come and talk to me. But we can't take our children's education for granted. We can't let our personal issues affect the decisions that we make for the education of our children, because they're our children, our only choice, and they are our future.
And I've been interviewing other candidates and having these conversations about our school system, and some of the issues that come up consistently are how to handle suspensions, the alternative school, trying to not have how to close that crack that people fall through if they go through behavioral problems. As a school board member, how can you impact what happens on a daily basis in the schools?
Well, day-to-day operations is the superintendents and the principals. School board is not supposed to interfere with day-to-day operations, and I'm big on that. But, however, as a school board member, we need to support the policies. We make the policies, so we need to make sure that the policies that we're making are, I'm not going to say student friendly, but that they're just. I'm going to use that word, that they're just.
Right.
And look at the different ways to prevention is going to be the first thing. When you talk about suspensions, now if my child has done something wrong,
Mm.
then I can't uphold my child in that wrong. And I think I'm sending the wrong message to my child if I do.
Mm.
But now if rights, and that's the thing, that's one of my big things, as far as wanting to serve on the board, to make sure that parents know their rights.
Mm.
To make sure that parents know their child's rights, because a lot of people don't.
Right. Some people don't even realize students have rights, huh?
They don't. That's right. And so we need to make sure that we're transparent and open across the board. Support our teachers, because they need to be in a safe environment also, and need to be able to, in order to educate our students, they're going to have some discipline. There has to be different behavior. It's very important. But we also have to support our students and the parents, because that's our resource. Without the students, there's no schools. Without the students, there's no jobs.
One of my concerns, and I think it grows on a daily basis, is you have a lot of young parents now, and I'm concerned that if they haven't been properly, I don't want to use the word trained, but raised, if they don't know anything about parenting, in each generation it gets worse. How do we help parents who don't know how to be a good parent? And that translates, and I would think, into all kinds of issues in the classroom. How do you think we do that?
Well, that's when we can offer different programs for parents, educating our children. But as you just said, we also need to help parents learn parents. Now we can offer it. Can we make?
You can't make them.
You can't make them come, but we can offer. We can offer, as you said, offer yourself up for service. We can offer the programs, and encourage. A lot of the school systems now have social workers. I know a lot of people don't know that. A lot of the school systems now have social workers, which I think is a good thing, because they can work with the parents. That can be a lot of that one-on-one that can help parents.
So it's like a holistic approach.
A holistic approach. You're talking about, now you're covering the parents and the child, because if that parent don't understand, you have parents who can't help their children with their homework.
They don't. They can barely read and write themselves.
Right. Or there's this new math. Everybody talk about, and so it's not the way that we did it.
Right. That's what I hear.
Carry your cross out and carry your 10 over here.
What in the world they
it
doing
didn't
now?
Work. Now it's all these different steps, and so you have parents, even me, saying, "Okay, wait a minute, that's not what we did. This is not how we did it."
Wow.
And then we get the same answer, but the kids get it and take days like. The kids freak out and say, I can't answer it that way. Wow. I got to show out these steps. So, we have to make sure that our parents also have resources to get their children what they need and to be what they need to be for their children.
Now, didn't we've been making progress, I understand, in terms of Dallas County schools. We may have a few schools that there may have been. I don't know what the report card score was, but I understand we're not doing too bad.
Now, the progress has been made in the school districts, both the school districts. And, when we look at report cards, we need to understand the makeup of it. We seem to feel like, okay, it's just teachers aren't teaching. That's not all of it. In that report card, you're going to also have the scores of children with learning disabilities. So,
that impacts the score.
It impacts the total score also. And so they're working. I think that our school system, both systems, are working hard. They're putting things in place to.
And you worked in both. You worked for the city and county.
I worked city and county, so I can speak to both. Putting things in place to strengthen and to, give our kids the best education that, that we can offer.
How do you take a child and, in your position as a career coach and help them prepare for the future? How does that work?
Well, and my kids always say, Miss Ma, you ask us everything. And they start to tell me everything a lot of times. Some things I don't want to know, but it helps me to understand that child.
Mm.
Um, I sat down and I'm not a counselor, but as a career coach, we're kind of wear that counselor hat too. So I'm getting the interest of the child. We do interest assessments,
Mm.
and kind of get what they like, what they don't like. And after they do their interest assessment, then they're able to look at that assessment, and I sit down and go over with them and say, okay, it seems like you have an interest in healthcare, or you have an interest in construction, So then we can show them these are all of the different careers that, because a lot of kids just think, oh, you be a doctor, if you'll be a doctor, nurse, or, just be a police officer. Okay, well, there's a lot of things in.
It sounds good, and they may be financially,
Right,
good
but
careers,
are you going to be good at this,
or happy with
or
it,
happy with what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so it starts them to think.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see them start to think about it, I feel like, okay, I made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that's all they do is start to think about what career path they want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting with apprenticeships and internships. I, along with Ms. Geraldine Rubens, wrote the first apprenticeships, a youth apprenticeship in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas County, Selma City, a lot of people don't know, had the very first youth apprenticeship program. There's been adult apprenticeships, but not youth. Now there's about 4 others in the state, where our kids actually, we connect them with industry, partner them with industry, and they get paid. And they can't just pay them minimum wage.
Mm.
It's a part of what the contract.
Wow.
Now the business gets incentives from the state.
Right.
Apprenticeship office, they get incentives. They get tax incentives and different things. And so after the child, the child they have steps.
Mm.
And after they meet certain steps, they have to give them another raise.
Mm.
And so, and it goes on and on. And they start, most of them start 11th grade.
Mm.
George's Paint and Body was one of our first partnerships here to hire a couple of our students to do partnership and put a little rent in when COVID came along.
Right.
That
just threw
everything off.
Mm.
Just getting back started, really to
back to normal.
Getting back to normal. So we have some kids who potentially going to be doing apprenticeships this year, and so that's been a good thing, And I know there's a lot of good secrets that are kept that shouldn't be secrets.
No, we don't kept secrets, huh?
Yeah, we don't toot our horn enough about what the school districts are doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Our guest this morning, Tammy Maul, she's running for District 3 on the school board, and that covers wards 3 and 8?
Correct, covers wards 3 and 8.
What is your platform?
My platform is our children, our choice, our future. If elected, I will make sure that I will support getting our children college and career ready, promoting different mentorships program for the staff, because we cannot forget our teachers. Our teachers spend a lot of time with our children than the parents do. So we have to stay engaged and give them the tools that they need. Our support, giving teachers the tools that they need. Support partnerships, because we need to partner more with our industry and businesses. Our industries and businesses need to be involved in our schools. We know, you look at systems where you have strong community and industry environment, the schools are thriving. The students are thriving. Things that can't be funded by the state, by ad valorem taxes that we receive from the systems received from the city and the county, or federal dollars, our community can help. They can help. And that helps deter our students from getting in trouble. Because if they're in a community that they know really cares about what they're doing
Right.
and who's celebrating the good things that they're doing,
Mm.
then that's going to deter them from wanting to get in trouble.
Yeah, they kind of watch themselves a little differently, huh?
Right. And they look at themselves different.
Mm-hmm.
They look at themselves different. They look at themselves as being valued.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience? Now is your time to say whatever you want to say, and if you got a point that you want to make about August 26th.
I would just like to say that, again, I'm Tammy Maul. I'm running for District 3, which consists of Wards 3 and 8. If you, as parents, give me a chance to be the voice for your children. I don't make promises, but I will tell you that I will stand on what's right. I will support parents, students, and teachers. Vote Tammy Maul on August the 26th.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. And we're going to take this break. We'll be back with more right after these messages.